So a lot has changed in 2026. There's a spam update, there's a core update, all these kinds of things, right? Um, Generally speaking, e-commerce sites have been winning after both those updates, which is great to see. There's been a lot of changes in SEO. There's new things with LLMs, all this good stuff. The biggest change for us, though, as an agency, and kind of what I and my team are thinking about mostly, is how we can do more with less or do the same amount faster. So I'm going to talk about how we're using AI in our agency and how we're getting better, faster results with AI, both in terms of operations as well as the actual SEO we're doing. Um, there's a lot of hype and noise around, Claude Code and Manus and Codex and OpenClaw and all these different platforms and tools and agents and stuff. All very cool stuff. Don't get me wrong, all very cool. It's happening. I think the hype is real. I think there's a lot of noise though too, right? You see people building all these apps, and you're seeing Stripe screenshots everywhere. People hitting one camera or 10 camera with these indie builds and stuff. Um, all cool things, right? I think the best use case for AI, like Claude Code, things like that, is just replacing software in your own agency. We've already rebuilt several tools we paid for on a regular basis and cut payroll costs by rebuilding things we're doing in house. Um, and I'm like, no one on our team has a computer science or computer engineering background. I've built a few tools myself. Our head of ops has built a couple, and we've combined all these tools now to kind of this one major operating system. I think the problem with these tools, before I get into actually what we've built and what's been helpful, is people are using these tools to feel busy and not productive. They're building things to make themselves feel accomplished. But I think at the end of the day, like, don't get me wrong, the first thing I built was like um, an app that was tracking how many countries I've been to. Like, I one shot it, like, and I was like, wow, that's really cool, right? But like, I only spent like 10 minutes on it. But then I spent on a few more projects, spending like 2-3 hours. I tried to make like an AI chatbot one time for SEO, and like totally wasted fucking time. It's like 3 or 4 hours of a weekend, just totally gone, right? And then it kind of hit me that like these tools should be used to make money or to get things done faster or cheaper or better, right? If you're using AI to just build random tools and you're not like you're not making more money as a result of them, or you're not increasing your profitability as a result of building them, you're doing nothing. You're just wasting time. Um, I've gotten tons of DMs on LinkedIn, Twitter, cold emails, people trying to sell me like these new automations and shit, and like they don't matter. They're not helpful to anyone. Like, they're building things that are product market fit. And I was doing that in my own agency. Like, I was building things I thought would be cool, and I didn't. I just should have just looked at our operations and figured out what's the most urgent thing we need that can either help us solve this problem faster, more regularly, or for lesser cost. Now we're only building things that are going to save us a couple $100 or a couple $1,000 per month, and then both in SaaS and in payroll costs. So that's it. Now, what's actually been helpful? What have we actually built? The coolest thing I think we've built lately is a new collection page tool for our clients. Um, the reason we built this is we had a collection page script prompt series that was working, and it just stopped working. December, January or so is kind of when we noticed it to fall off. And we're still testing it on some other sites, like some test sites of ours, but not getting a lot of traction, okay? Um, the working theory is because programmatic content is getting harder to, well, yeah, pretty much getting nuked / getting harder to scale. And the collection pages were just way too similar. And for the last like year and a half, that was working really well. But now you just need more uniqueness to the copy. You need different page structure, all these kinds of things. So our collection page tool, a couple different things. I don't keep in mind, like, I want you to keep in mind, I barely knew how to connect an API, like, prior to building this tool. Like, I had to ask a few times. But like, now what our collection page tool does, it does new pages, new collections, and updated collections. So it integrates with a couple things: data for SEO API, Google's natural language API, our sitemap. Those are the three big things. So the data for SEO API, when you type in a keyword and a target keyword for a new page and the site you're going to build it on, and then it basically, data for SEO goes and finds the top ranking competitors, pulls out their word count, their heading structure, number of internal links, things like that, and then basically we create an average of those things. So if they've got 3 or 4 headers on average, we've got 3 or 4 headers on our page. It also pulls out the people also ask questions of that query and then adds them to FAQs at the bottom of the page so they get answered too. The Google Natural Language API extracts entities from all the top ranking pages. So basically takes the words that are being used across all top pages and makes sure they're getting aggregated into our final copy, okay? And then the sitemap. So when you're building new collections, like we work with brands that range in product catalog sizes from like 2 to like 20,000. So 2 is easy. When you build a new collection, you know exactly which 2 products are getting added. When you 20,000 and a catalog you don't recognize or is just so robust that you can't quickly do it, it gets way harder at scale. Now you can use product tags and things like that to make it easier, but sometimes it's just still not perfect. So it also grows the sitemap, and up to I think 150 products, it'll basically suggest which products get added. So when our developer goes and builds the page, he can just copy that list, add it in Shopify, and the products get added automatically. So it makes it a lot faster for that. So if you run like a big dropshipping store or you run an e-commerce store and you're building these new collections and you're getting hung up on the manual addition of products, like this part is a big solve for us. It's making our process way faster to build these new pages. For updating pages, it's a little bit different. We also integrated Search Console. So it integrates with the Search Console API. And so when it is going to update a new page or update a page, it filters out the branded terms, finds the underserved queries from the last like 30 days or whatever, and then adds those into the copy. And then it makes other changes also based on data for SEO and then Google Natural Language API. So it's still pulling in those elements. And it highlights what's been changed and why it's been changed. So basically it's giving you the steelman argument for why it did this. That way it's not just like making changes in a vacuum. I think, a lot of AI, like OpenAI's models especially, are very agreeable. They're yes men, right? For lack of a better word. You can push back a little bit, but like it's still going to agree with you. So for this, it was like, okay, we want to make this change, but we also want to know why the change was made. So our SEOs can go in and be like, all right, is this actually the right change for this particular keyword or this search result page, or is it not? Because if you're just like seeing the updates, you're like, all right, that looks good, that looks good, that looks good. And you're not like SEO's not actually doing any SEO or not like using their brain. And we'll never be outsourcing thinking to AI, right? But we're outsourcing the painstaking part, which is, all of this grabbing the underserved queries and the entities and the competitors and like putting all that together, like that could be done by AI, right? But we still need SEOs kind of driving the ship. So that's keeping them in the driver's seat, right? The other thing too, despite all these other data points and connectors, it's also been trained on every collection page you've ever ranked. And every time we publish a new collection page, it gets added to the training knowledge base to continually improve over time. The other big thing, like outside all these things, is every collection has to be unique from one another, even for the same website. So that way we're getting away from it looking so programmatic, but still creating it kind of in a programmatic method. The result is that our SEOs are editing, producing, updating pages that are truly data-driven by competitors, Search Console, Google Natural Language, things like that. And they're 90% ready to rank by the time they've clicked a button or two, right? So that's been helpful. That has saved us, I can't tell you how many hours, and we're actually ranking pages faster as a result of it now. Other thing we built, Reddit Thread Finder, extracting relevant threads with Reddit's API, and basically then drafts comments for each brand. So we're basically placing brand dimensions of brands through relevant subreddits, threads, things like that to boost their ChatGPT and AI overview visibility, okay? So first we pull out the Threads API, filter down, and basically go pass or fail on threads that are actually relevant to us. So we pull in relevant ones, and then the ones that are blocked or archived or whatever, those are passed, and then the ones that look like they may be inflammatory or may like comment may get deleted, pass on those. And the ones that are left, basically then draft comments. We draft comments based on pattern matching in the thread, so it looks at like sentiment, word count, if any other brands have been mentioned, things like that. And then it actually drafts the comment, and then we go and place it. The result is we don't have to spend any time manual researching or finding threads. Comments get drafted daily. It runs on like a cycle, so comments get drafted daily. They go, comments get delivered, done. Next up, landing page builder. Basically, we're turning my YouTube videos. This is in progress currently, but I figured I'd share. We're turning YouTube content into SEO landing pages instead of just blogs. I found some free YouTube transcription and blog content writer like a year ago, and I just threw them all up on the website and didn't think anything about it. I didn't add internal links. I didn't look at headings. Like, I just had a VA do it, and I've been looking to get back to that project because I know it's shit and it's a low effort thing, but I want to get the videos up on the website somehow. So what we're doing now is I've got 150 or more videos. The tool we built runs on the same data for SEO, Google natural language thing, so it's pulling in all those same elements, but basically it's spinning up custom HTML. So it's going to build, let's say there's 150 videos, it's going to build 150 unique landing pages with a shortened transcribed version of each YouTube video, and then built onto the HTML with calls to action and all the structure, like nice looking landing page. We've already got a few. They're not up yet on the site, but we've already got a few built in the CMS, and it's going like they look cool, and they're all unique. So we're gonna test like what landing page format works better, and if it actually works better than blog content, which I'm absolutely certain it will. It's already got the internal link integration, so it's going to do that automatically. The landing pages, I'm not confident about ranking on Google, but this is more of an LLM test, if you will. Landing pages seem to perform much better than traditional blog content in LLM, so this is kind of the impetus for that one. If we get it rolling out, I've already built the backend data connector that can ship the custom HTML into Shopify, so you can just copy and paste a landing page in Shopify. You won't need Replo or Pagefly or Gem Pages or any of these other page builders. You can just ship the custom HTML over, and it's a drag and drop editor, just like Shopify or Webflow or Framer is. So it's pretty cool. So basically you can drag and drop once the page comes out, you can edit the text and then ship that HTML to Shopify, and it'll be live right away. So once you crack it here, we validate it works for LLMs, it's going to all of our clients right away, which is going to be sweet. And as a result, early on, outside of our clients getting results, I can finally get some LLM visibility and mileage out of all my YouTube content that I've ever put out. Last thing here, started working on this week, basically Kai.ai. I took all my YouTube videos ever, all my Slack messages, which is like 3,000 messages in the last like 12 months, all of my Loom and tele videos I've used to communicate with clients, internal teammates, record courses, reach out to prospects, and whatever else I've ever recorded. I think it's like 2,500 videos in total, and all of my meeting recordings from the last 18 months, and basically threw it all into a training model and built an AI that's basically a chatbot that I can ask questions, and theoretically the AI is going to respond in my voice based on the knowledge it has been provided. Currently I'm using it for social media ideation, Twitter content, LinkedIn content, some other platforms we're testing for LLMs. But once I get the chatbot feature working better, and I've solved the social media component, which is the main reason I built it really, it'll be a nice internal tool for our brand, or for our team, to use for quick advice and questions. And we'll probably even introduce it to clients as like a Slack chatbot. So you can just like ask it questions about like, how does my report look this month or whatever. And it can just take all the information. You can grab reporting from GA4, Search Console, this kind of stuff, and just do that, which I think will be cool. The result now is I spend, outside of YouTube, probably like an hour a week producing 40 pieces of social content, which is nuts. And again, in the future, like benefit will be, I'll be everyone that can use it, everyone that will use it, which will be team and clients only, will be able to upskill all my knowledge, ask questions without me having to answer all these questions. So it saves really everyone time, quite frankly. Now, what has been a waste of time? I told you the stupid country list or country counting app or whatever I built. I tried to build an AI like chatbot for men's style, like clothing and stuff. Wasted like a weekend on it. Didn't fucking work. To be fair, this was on Cursor, and I was not good. I wasn't. This was like 6 months ago, and I sucked at it. Cloud Code makes it a hell of a lot easier, I'll say. What else have I wasted time on? Tried to build a music website with like Spotify integrations and automated playlists and stuff. Couldn't get it to work. Mostly just couldn't get the content and the automated or the auto-created playlist to work quite the way I'd hoped, so I scrapped it, and honestly just wanted to focus on the agency. It was kind of a side project I thought I could spin up, and it just took a little bit too much time, so I scrapped it. But the two big wastes of time that I think that everyone makes, and I know because I've done it and still am doing it, trying to one-shot anything. When I built the landing page, the YouTube to landing page thing, I told Claude what I wanted, and it got me a version on the very first try that took a YouTube video, transcribed it, and built a landing page. And it was like, I mean, it was the most remedial landing page. The content was very, very average, right? It didn't have the data for SEO, the natural language programming, or the natural language component. It wasn't trained on any of my existing content on the site. No internal linking. Like, it just produced a basic landing page. Like, that's it. And honestly, like, I don't even think it used the transcription because it could have, like, the content was so generic, it could have been from anywhere. So, like, yeah, you can technically build things. Like, I technically built that on try one, but it took me like several more hours before I actually got it dialed into what I wanted to use it for, or like to the quality I really thought was good enough. So the landing page is good now. The copy matches the transcript. The language does not read like an AI. It's very human. It's trained on how I think. All the content existing on our website, all the videos that I've ever put out. Again, like mentioning something earlier, like I still get DMs from people on LinkedIn who like send me a video of a tool, like check this out, or they're like, hey, would you use this tool? And like you use a tool or you see a video of it and like it's broken right away. So like you can't want something, like you should test it until you find a way to break it. And you should definitely not be like this collection page tool. I think is our biggest thing. Like I'm still working on it. Like I still spend some time on it, trying to improve it every single day. You have to do that. Last thing is a lot of agency owners, friends of mine, whatever, use all these different models. I've got a buddy who like 1 week he was like Claude Code's the future, whatever, and then the next week he texted me, he's like, gotta switch to Codex. And like for me, like I'm looking at building things that can scale long term. Sure, there's probably a lot of benefit in testing all these other models all the time, but I think for the average person, you're not going to see a major difference, and you're going to be way more effective if you just stick in one model. So like we use Claude Code for pretty much everything now, and it works for us 99% of the time, minus the last week or two when they had the outages. But I don't think if we tested like the writing part, if we tested like a Claude model versus an OpenAI model or Perplexity model, I don't think it's worth doing that at this stage until we have absolutely exhausted every other improvement we can make. I think we can make like 10-20% gains doing other things than just testing different models, right? Kind of like the same with SEO. Like you can write more content, build more links. Those are 10, 20, 30% gains. Or you could focus on Core Web Vital, which is probably a 1% gain. Again, it's going to be more of like you're a busy versus accomplished type thing. So, anyways, I don't really know where I was going with this video. I hope it was helpful. This is how we're using AI in our agency. And I'll see you guys in the next video.